p.m. I'll ask Councilman Hancock to give our opening prayer.
Let's pray. Almighty God, we come before you in humility and faith, asking for your blessings on this meeting. We thank you for all that you have given us. We ask for your guidance and strength and always show us the way. Give us the patience and understanding to face all challenges. Knit our hearts together as we work for your peace and prosperity for our town. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, you have a copy of tonight's agenda. Are there any changes that need to be made at this time? Here, I need a motion to approve.
Motion.
Got a motion, do I have a second? Second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, in favor, raise your right hand. Next on the agenda is the hazardous mitigation plan resolution. Mr. Swider.
All right, every 5 years, the county emergency management has to do a hazardous mitigation plan. And this time they elected to do a regional plan, which consists of Chesterfield, Darlington, Dillon, Marion, and Marlboro counties. This is, it's already been adopted by, approved by FEMA, and they're asking that the town adopt this. We did participate in the information in this packet, or in this hazardous mitigation plan, and I'll read the resolution to you. Whereas the 2023, and actually I think that should be 2022. Let me make sure. If so, then we'll make the changes before you sign tonight. Pretty certain it should be 2022 because it's 22 and then the 27, I think. So we'll make those changes. Whereas the 2022 PD Regional Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan has been prepared in accordance with FEMA requirements, 44 CFR 201.6, and whereas the town of Pageland participated in the preparation of multi-jurisdictional plan, the 2022 PD Regional Hazardous Mitigation Plan, and whereas the town of Pageland is a local unit of government that has been afforded the citizens an opportunity to comment and provide input on the plan and the actions of the plan, and whereas the town of Pageland has reviewed the plan and affirms that the plan will be updated no less than every 5 years. Now, therefore, it be it resolved, the town of Pageland Town Council, that the town of Pageland adopts the 2022 PD Regional Hazardous Mitigation Plan as this jurisdiction's multi-hazard mitigation plan, and resolved to execute the actions of the plan, and the PD Regional Hazardous Mitigation Plan Committee is recognized as continuing entity charged with reviewing, maintaining, periodically reporting on the progress towards revisions of the plan to the town of Pageland, adopted this 20th day, June 2023, at a duly called meeting of the Pageland Town Council. So this is the update of that plan.
Any questions, comments from council?
We don't have a copy of that, do we?
No, he just read it out to us.
Yeah.
Y'all want a copy of it?
They said they would do a printed copy. It's 378 pages, if you all want copies of it.
No, just save a few trees.
So in summary, what is it? Like if we have hazardous material?
No, it's more of a hazardous mitigation plan. It goes through and identifies potential hazards that the county and the region may face, and kind of adopts a plan of what we do, how we do, who we call. So in case of an earthquake in Pageland, who do you call? You call the fire chief, you call police chief, town administrator, and everybody coordinates, and emergency management works through it. It identifies potential hazards for the county, and then who is the ones that typically respond, are your key players is what it's identifying.
Who executed from town?
Sir,
Who executed from the town?
I took them the information that they needed. They sent us,
I mean, who executed the town's plan?
The,
In case of it,
so at the time that incident happens in town, of course, it starts with the fire or police department, you know, if the plan, or, you know, if a disaster happens, one of them starts the process. The hazardous mitigation plan essentially is a source for us to be able to get funding whenever we have hazards. If we don't adopt it, we have to either create our own or either not participate and not get funding is what it boils down to. A couple of those emergency management grants, like the one for the generator going into the community center, we wouldn't have adopted the county's plan 5 years ago. We wouldn't have been eligible for that grant for the generator. But to answer your question, most of the time, it either starts with the fire or police at the local level.
okay. So when something broke loose in my area, I just call the police or you.
You dial 911, whenever they get there and they identify that there's a situation, then they step it up and they pick up the phone and they call whoever else, and then they call me and emergency management as well. And in which case, if it's a big enough event, I'm calling you guys to come up here, and so if we need to make decisions on monetary, you know, things that we need to purchase and that type of thing.
So no farther than 1,000-year flood that, you know, these plans were executed, where the state emergency management was called in, FEMA was called in. Even though we didn't have very much going on here, you go 35, 40 miles to the east, back toward Cheraw, you know, they had catastrophic floods, and they already established shelters and temporary shelters for people, so that these are all things that are identified in these mitigation plans for the public's use, and municipalities' use, so. Any other questions, comments?
Just for your input, this didn't cost the town anything other than we just participated and gave them information.
Do that.
The county paid the bill on that one.
One more comment, any other questions, comments regarding the mitigation plan resolution? Hearing none, need a motion to approve the hazardous mitigation plan resolution. Got a motion? Second, any further discussion? Hearing all in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Next on the agenda is the downtown benches. Mr. Snyder.
Okay, the downtown benches went before that last bench went before the planning commission, I'm sorry, not planning commission, the beautification committee, the Friday after the last council meeting. They reviewed it, it was talked about what it was gonna look like. It's gonna be similar to one of the other benches we have, that we have pictures of during the last, council meeting. The only thing different, I think it's gonna have, some chickens and maybe sunflowers or something along those lines, along with it. But it's gonna be very similar to one, I think the white colored bench that,
It's the other one that Bobby Mellis painted, right?
yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be similar to the one Bobby Mellis painted. Bobby's gonna be the one that does the painting on this one. But the beautification committee did approve it unanimously.
And so once this is completed, then what we'll do is Public Works to gather all the benches up, and we'll have a recommendation from the Main Street Director of people locating these benches.
If that's the way council would like us to proceed, and then we'll have another meeting on the 11th of,
Because where some of the benches where they weren't being utilized, and I think she kind of knows where they're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
get utilized more than they
Yeah.
just sit there.
yeah, we can gather some recommendations and then put it before you guys for y'all to make a final decision on that.
Perfect. So that being said, I need a motion to approve the final downtown bench to be painted, at which then from that point forward, the town will collect them, and then a recommendation we made to the Main Street Director on the location of the five, correct? Yeah, 5?
Yeah.
Get a motion for that.
Motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Next on the agenda is the Farmers Market HVAC. Mr. Sly.
All right, we had a bid opening today at 2 p.m. The farmer's market, you should have a copy of the farmer's market bid packet here. There are a total of 4 bids. The very last bid, which is much lower than the other 3, was not, kind of what we were looking for. We've asked them to give us pricing on the mini splits, similar to the one we got there in the server room, so we could have 4 of them in the farmer's market. Mr. Johns gave us one for just a regular HVAC unit with ductwork that would be running across the ceiling. Everyone else gave us prices on mini splits, like we asked them for. But Mr. Johns said it was hard for him to get the mini splits.
So the low bid for this is the one for K2's HVAC.
Yes, Cato's is the apparent low bidder.
$15,995. Is that your recommendation to award this particular contract to K2?
Yes, at this time it is.
Is it the same kind of units? Okay.
It's not the same brand, but it's the same type. It is,
All of them are mini splits.
they're all mini split units, with, individual heads that,
What about the warranty?
That's what I
The-
see a warranty listed on one, but I don't see it on the other one.
and it's hard to read this one, but,
I know all units aren't created equal either, you know. so.
No, but not having access to the same ones to probably run into is one of them could only get a residential, unit, not commercial. One of them could get a particular, none of them could get this, that I'm aware of, could get the access to the same, units. Reiners could only, they only could get 8, the Mitsubishi. But that's what I think we got, is it Mitsubishi or Trane?
well, it's a combination of the two. It was built by Mitsubishi with the train tag on the front of it, just in that server room.
I think in looking at this with the question of the warranty, I must say that, with the one for K2 that we could give, conditional approval with them verifying what the warranty period is for it.
So on the one for Reiner, it has a 10-year manufacturer and 1-year labor.
Yeah, that's the only one that lists the warranty, that's
Yeah,
Right.
why I asked the other two.
yeah.
So the one from LL John's, it's just a traditional unit.
That's correct.
It's just a standard split with running ductwork across the ceiling.
Yeah.
This rate, the other mini splits will not have any ductwork run across the ceiling. It would-
They'll have like, small conduit lines, that run down the edge of the wall.
it'd be the same thing we got at the Rapids Park at the concession stand.
Is there an advantage to that kind?
What the
Is
advantage,
there an
Yeah,
advantage
yeah,
to
what
that
the-
kind versus the traditional?
just size and doing control and remote controls.
The other side of that is you can also control each individual head. So if one spot is getting colder, you can cut 1 or 2 heads off, and then, so if the front of the building, because it has glass on the front, gets a little bit hotter, you could, or in the wintertime gets a little bit colder, you could turn those towards the front on a little more often, or in the back.
For the ones that followed your instructions, will their units basically have the same specs?
Yes, the ones that had, were able to bid on the ones, that we talked about, they have they all have the similar specs. The only thing I really see here is the Cato one was for 18,000 BTU. Reiner there did not specify their BTUs, and ERI gave a 24,000 BTU. And
Yeah, I just question the warranty, because like, John's has a 5-year warranty, Reiner's has 10-year. I'd be interested to see what the other two. I'm surprised they weren't the same.
last year when we were doing all the AC units, and none of them were worded close enough to the same, you had to sit there and kind of decipher through the stuff.
No, I meant the warranty.
Mhm.
The number of years warranty.
So you're fine with doing a kind of conditional approval for the one for Cato, as long as they provide information on the warranty? And I can't read exactly, it's a little bit light.
Yeah,
You might want to-
it's hard on that. I might, that email actually came through Sherry's email. I might have to, get with her to get a clearer copy on that. I think it's a Daikin.
1,000 BTUs, 2 mini split pumps with 4 automatic. But you don't have a wireless remote.
So y'all fine with going that way, would validate the warranty for the loan?
So one question, so what if this comes back with like a 7-year warranty?
So the difference in the price in a 7-year and a 10-year would be $205.
Okay.
So do you want to go with the additional $205 at that point? That would be your,
Yeah, that was kind of my question.
Yeah.
If everything's similar, what's,
That could have
I mean,
done those.
we done bought a whole bunch of air units this
Yeah.
year. So-
Have to approve another one too.
So there's no other questions, need a motion to approve low bid of $15,995 for those heating and air, with the condition that they validate the warranty, for the parts and labor.
Motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second, any further discussion?
quick question, do you want to do it as the condition of a 10-year warranty, or them just validating the warranty?
I don't want to say, minimum will be 5 years, because you had one that did,
John's did 5.
Okay.
one did,
Mine would be 10.
Rice
10.
with 10 and 1 year's labor.
yeah, so since we
Well,
didn't.
see, if you add 205 to Cato's, it's the same price as one round.
Right. So I,
Okay,
since we didn't specify a warranty,
specify a warranty.
yeah, so,
What were some of the things that we specified?
We wanted the mini splits.
so we got a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments regarding this? Getting all in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Next on the agenda is the airport HVAC system, Mr. Sly.
All right, the airport HVAC system, we asked them to match what we had out there or something similar, only to the, because we just replaced the downstairs last year. So we asked them to get something similar to that for the upstairs, and we also wanted a Wi-Fi remote, thermostat so that we can remotely control it and, like we do with the downstairs. We received 2 bids, one from Funderburk and one from Brad Johns. Brad Johns was the apparent low bidder at $5,295. That there will be ARP funds that will pay for that, so that is federal funding that we'll be using on that one. That one comes with the 10-year compressor warranty, 10-year coil warranty, 10 years parts, and 1 year on labor for the low bidder for that one. And he done a train unit, which is like what we have out there.
Any questions, comments, discussion?
Looks like he did his on a 1.5 ton compared to Thunderbird's
2 ton. That he did.
Now, is that, the 1.5, is that replacing what's there, or is Thunderbird replacing what's currently there? What is it, a 1.5 or 2 ton?
I don't know what's currently there. I asked both of them to go out and give a quote on what would, told them that we want something similar to what was already there, the new one that we just put in. Both of them went out and looked at it, and made their quote based on that.
In the area this is gonna service is gonna be a
Only
much smaller.
upstairs.
Yeah,
It's a small area.
yeah.
Are there any more commissioners we need to replace? I mean, geez.
This should bring us up, bring us current.
That should get us
Bring us up to
current.
code.
So any other questions, comments?
So Thunderbird could be penalized for putting in a larger unit?
Could be. Yep.
If y'all would like to do a rebid on that, we can do a rebid on that. That one, there's not quite as time sensitive as the farmer's market.
Yeah. I'm fine with doing that. Just,
Now, if that being the case, could you specify whether you want a 1.5 ton or if you want a 2 ton unit there?
I think they should be able to do calculations based on the square footage of the area of service and the determination of what it's gonna need, a 1.5 or 2. Because a 1.5 may not be insufficient, but a 2 may be overkill, so
Right.
you may not need a 2. So I'm not HVAC person, so I'm really, yeah, fine, we'll just table this and bring it back up next. And also, I just ask them
I think we just want it to be a fair playing field.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
So, okay, that being said, need a motion to table and,
do you want to table or you want to reject these and have them rebid?
that's fine, I'll reject them, ask them to rebid them, just, what you do, I tell you what you do is you just take and develop a specific scope of work for them. Just, you can ask them what size unit is it out there, that's out there now,
Mhm.
and just say, just give me exactly a train with.
Exactly like the one we put in last.
That's right, but make sure that it's size appropriate for just the upstairs, because, you know, you may not need again, a 2 ton, then again, a 1.5 may not be sufficient, so.
Right.
So, Jeff, I was rejecting.
Yeah.
All right, need a motion to reject airport HVAC bids and rebid it with, similar.
Specs.
More specs, yeah, there you go, with similar specs. So I need a motion for that. Got a motion?
Second.
Second, any further discussion? You know, all in favor, raise your right hand. Next on the agenda is the Hainsworth Sink for the Board invoice, Mr. Sly.
That invoice has come out to, $17,199.27 thus far. I need, permission to pay the bill thus far.
So this is all the way up to June.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions, comments from council? Hearing none, there's a motion to approve the invoice for Hainsworth Central Boyd to be paid so far.
This is legal work?
Yes, it's legal work, yep. This is for $17,199.27. Need a motion for that. Got a motion?
Second.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Next on the agenda is the barricades for the festival, Mr. Sly.
So the fire department has requested that, barricades for the festival. The town of Kershaw has some water barricades that they're requesting. Right now, we know that we can put them on Pearl Street to block up anybody from running a car through, or try to help prevent a car running through the fair, or the fairground area. Put some on South Pearl to keep people from coming up into the vendor area, prevent a vehicle from coming too fast in. There's some logistics that the fire department, want to work out on possibility of putting them on, McGregor Street. The logistics have to do with the parade and moving those barriers and that type of thing, but they're asking that we request, to borrow the barriers from the town of Kershaw.
Is it like a trough or something?
It's just, it's like the barriers you see on the interstate, but they're plastic and they hold water instead of being concrete.
Any questions? Yes, we just authorize you to make that call, or?
Yes, just need authorization for me to write a letter requesting to borrow those barriers. And the fire department, y'all gonna do the logistics on getting those in and out?
Who's gonna be the one responsible for filling them, moving them?
I'm sorry, Mayor, I didn't hear you.
I said, who's gonna be responsible, y'all gonna be responsible for moving them, filling them, water and everything?
Yeah, so the plan was, of course, we need barricades first before we worry about intricate details, but if Kershaw will loan them to us, was to deploy the barricades, North Pearl and South Pearl, and then with regards to the parade route, more or less McGregor, put them out on Thursday, then we have to remove them early on Saturday morning for the 5K and the parade, and then put them back in place immediately following the parade. So it took a little coordinated effort. We could use Public Works' help. We mentioned to Stuart on actually going to Kershaw and getting them and bringing them back. But other than that, putting them in place during the festival event, moving them around, we've got a plan that'll work for that. And I guess it bears, mentioning that the goal here is to increase or enhance our level of protection with collision protection that we currently don't have to further make the event a safer event. We don't have the financial resources like immediately to go out and rent them or buy them. So our friends down the road have some and they're not using them, and if we want to use them, they're available. However, they requested that the administrator write a letter saying, hey, we'd like to borrow your barricades.
Okay.
So our friendly neighbors are willing to help us out, apparently.
So any questions, comments?
I think it's a great idea.
Do we still use, like some of our fire engines to help block off some of those?
Yes, generally, we try to stage them where they're easily deployed for things inside the footprint of the festival and outside the footprint of the festival. And it's difficult to leave people with them where we need them most as a substitute for like blocking streets. So, because they need to be there for, Saturday, they need to be there for like 20 hours. And you can't walk off and leave them. Our thieves will take care of what few we have,
That's a shame.
will vandalize and steal things. And you could sit in the truck and people will open compartments on them, you know what I mean? We've witnessed that. So you have to watch them like a little hawk, so,
Let your wire run.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah. So any questions, comments? With that being said, I need a motion to authorize the town administrator to write a letter to the town of Kershaw requesting the barricades for the Watermelon Festival.
Motion.
Got a motion?
Okay.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Next on the agenda is the sale of the surplus police equipment. Mr. Spike.
So the police department sent me some equipment. I think this is some older things that they no longer use, or for some of this is for vehicles that they no longer have. They're requesting to be able to sell those, and there's a copy of the email here. It says we would like request the council to use that the money collected from these items to purchase a cage for Unit 31, which is the Ford Interceptor, and rifle racks for several vehicles and other racks that would not fit in additional rifle parts or any other miscellaneous parts to outfit patrol officers with the equipment that they need. So they're asking if they can sell these, it would go through the town to sell them on Gov Deals.
Any questions, comments? Hearing none, need a motion to authorize the police department to sell the surplus police equipment as stated in the email provided in your agenda. Got a motion? Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, better raise your right hand. Unanimous, second. Next is our number 11, which is adjournment. That concludes all the items we have. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Anybody question marks off? Thank y'all.
Thank you.